Okay, today we are playing a game on Busan. We are in the Gold SR range, and we will be playing about half the game as Reaper and about half the game as Genji. And dude, thank God for the replays, because now I don't have to do any video editing. Look, we're Team 2. Isn't that incredible? I am going to complain right here at the top that the two team colors are basically the exact same color for me. So, that's going to make it really hard for me when it comes to looking at the silhouettes, because they look the same, dude. I'm colorblind, so maybe it's just me, but, like, come on, dude. We gotta have two, like, slightly more different colors here. Anyway, so our team, it's a little weird. We've got the Genji and Mei with the bunker tanks. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, but simultaneously, like, who cares? At the same, who really cares that much? I know I don't. So we're in the hangar first. I don't know what this map's called. The hangar seems like the reasonable one to go with, but to be honest with you, I don't know what any of the ones on Busan are called, except that the Shrine one is probably called Shrine. Might be Temple or something. I don't know. Whatever. The drum. So we're playing really far back right now during most of this, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some would say it is lacking in ambition. We could be playing a little bit more aggressively trying to kill people, but at the same time, we don't know what their team comp is yet. We do manage to pick off Batista right there. Obviously, we know what their team comp is, right? We can see it right there, but in-game, we didn't know what their team comp was, so we kind of play it a little bit more cool, which is fine, just feeling it out. It is really hard for me to take much info at all out of the kill feed at present. I keep looking over there, like, wait, no, that's their team that died. Yes, okay, It's very hard for me right now. Even though, like, it's the boxed one that has the, is the enemy team, but just do yourselves all a favor and just don't be colorblind, okay? It's really inconvenient. Try not to roll that one at character creation. Anyway, so a lot of our team did die. We are regrouping now. We're pretty close to having Dragon Blade built up. There is a Winston on the enemy team, which is not the end of the world for us as Genji, but we do have to play around the fact there is a Winston over there. If we are going to be this close to them, to be honest with you, I'd rather we just, like, walk up behind them and start trying to right-click them instead, rather than just sitting back there and, like, chipping at them. Though the goal might just be more build up, ult charge as quickly as possible to use Dragon Blade. Video is really quiet as well. So Mei has used her ultimate, Batista used the lamp, but sadly the lamp is not going to save you from Blizzard most of the time. We decide to go right for the soldier, which is a really risky play when you're playing Genji. It is hard to kill the soldier while he's using tac visor, which is what he was doing, by the way. You can't hear the video, so I should have said, but we managed to kill him, which is fantastic news, though very risky to go for as Genji, because the soldier does need to be quite bad to actually, like, let you kill him with deflect, but hey, we killed him. How about that? Or if you get, like, a couple of really good right-clicks into him as well, but, I mean, that's also hard. So we don't, like, fully commit one way or the other to killing this Mercy, because we can just commit one of two different ways, where we decide, alright, I'm going to stop now and just line up this headshot and left-click her, or I'm going to dash through her, turn around, and then right-click her instead to try and kill her. Either way, we decide to not quite go for either of those, so she ends up getting the res off. We are not really close enough to be right-clicking at her anymore, because at this point she's so far away, only one shuriken's gonna hit her from the right-click. And it is easier to hit that shuriken, but it is not exactly doing big boy DPS. She is tremendously low right now, and just use GA to get down there, so again, we could just commit, dash through her, turn around, right-click her, and then, hey, bingo bongo, we killed the Mercy. But most of our team is also dead right now, so we don't want to commit too hard simultaneously at the same time, because it would be, I would expect a lot of Genji players to go for that and then immediately draw Dragon Blade and start trying to get play of the game 1v6. Or 1v5, I guess, seeing as we just killed Mercy, but you get the idea. So we're creeping up on the soldier. We're going to use Dragon Blade right now. A little bit messy, but we got him. We then decide to get the Winston, which is a harder one to get with Dragon Blade. Usually you're better off going for the squishy targets, but we do manage to kill the Winston quite quickly. What happened to our dash here? Oh, we dashed through the Batista right there and then kind of lost him, and then we didn't have his getaway. Yeah, there's a Zarya in there, so if we can't dash away from her, we're gonna have to try real hard to put the moves on her. And now Reaper's in there spinning. Things are not looking too good for round 1. They're pretty close to winning. I hate looking at the kill feed right now, dude. I really hate it. So we just got to touch the point for the sake of touching the point, but didn't really work out. My man, I just look at that, dude. Is it me? Is it me? Is it me being colorblind, or is this just exactly the same color? Because it sure fucking looks like it, but then several colors can look exactly the same when you're colorblind. It's really inconvenient, dude. It's really inconvenient. I've never actually looked at the teams like this and been like, dude, they are the exact same fucking color. It sucks. So, we're still playing Genji for now. We decided to stick with it after the first round. I would have been tempted to change as soon as I saw Winston, but I'm also a really big fan of Reaper, so that might just be me. So again, we're playing really far back. We do know what their team comp is at this point. We could be trying to play like a little bit more aggressively to try and get a pick, but simultaneously, number 1 priority as Genji is more or less just farm ult charge so you can use Dragon Blade, because that's really the way that you win games as Genji. So we come in for this Zarya. She's got the Discord Orb on her. So we come at her with like really low ammo right here. We haven't got a huge amount. Would have been better off reloading before we committed to trying to kill this Zarya, because it's something that could take a surprisingly long time. We do end up almost dying to her. It was risky to continue pursuing the soldier right there as well, but he just head down trying to sprint away from us, so fine. But we had 11 health, so it was still a little bit scary at the same time. So our team largely won the fight with very little input from us, so that was nice. Good job, team. We do almost have Dragon Blade built up, which is very good ultimate. Winston is apparently deciding to jump right on top of us. We are playing Genji, so it is not much issue for us to just leave. Oh, I see. I was like, we died really suddenly. I didn't know Batista used his ultimate. Yeah, we don't really want to stick our face out in front of that. Even if we have deflect up, because just like, the amplification matrix makes you take a lot of fucking damage, dude. So if they've got like, any kind of splash weapon, and they're shooting it through that, oh boy, can you die real fucking fast, even when you've got deflect up. So, if Batista's using his ultimate, just don't really fuck with it, if at all possible. If you're gonna fuck with it, just try and, like, get on the other side of it so they can't even use it on you anymore, because, oh fuck. Amplification Matrix is a big boy damage boost. I was just thinking about that game we watched the other day on King's Row, where Bastion got play of the game because he looked through Amplification Matrix in turret form, and it was just like, 6 people were over there, and in the span of about 0.75 seconds, whole team was dead. Like, it was absolutely fucking disgusting. So, anyway, I was just off in my own world thinking about that and how terrible it was. So we've been nano boosted, so we go in and we use the Dragon Blade. We only got 2 people, which, you know, could be better for a Dragon Blade, but we did kind of get the Dragon Blade forced on us. Like, alright, well, I gotta go in now. I just got nano boosted, right? We do manage to get the Moira, which is pretty much the important one. And we got the Reaper as well, which is just, you know, nice to get. I don't want to keep running forward into the enemy team after this ends, though, because we got 82 health, which is really fucking scary to be running into a soldier with, because, well, if he just helixes us at the ground near us, right? Fuck, I died. So, I'd rather get healed up or get a health kit, something, before going in after the soldier. And, like, just do not fuck with this Zarya, dude. Like, she is pretty healthy right now. And this lady has got a lot of fucking charge. Just don't bother. Not worth the risk. High charge Zarya is gonna chew right the fuck through you. And we as Genji, we've got limited options in terms of surviving the Zarya. We're also just not really great at killing Zarya. So we have now changed to Reaper, which is good because they have a Winston. There you go, that's the one. And the Reaper really fucks Winston up. Like, real good and proper. It will be... He also is good versus Zarya as well, though not so much compared to, like, other tanks. Soldier's using Tac Visor right now, which is why Zenyatta has popped Transcendence. Their Reaper also used his ultimate, so ended up getting 2 for 1. Mercy rezzed the Reaper who died on their team, and we're just kind of like... We've switched targets a lot during this fight, but a fair few of our team are starting to die at this point. Oh, don't teleport there, thank God, okay. Excuse me. So we switched targets a lot during that one fight, which is generally not a great idea, because especially as someone like Reaper, you really want to just like kill one motherfucker. You know, you pick a boy, and then that's the boy that's gonna fucking die. My nose really fucking itches. Oh my God, okay. There we go. What a terrible day it's been. Oh God, this has been a bad video so far, I'll not lie to you. It's okay, we've got some questions in the email where we can hopefully redeem ourselves. I just don't feel like I've really said much of importance this game. So we used our Wraith form real aggressive right here. Did we use it to reload? I mean, yes and no, basically, because we had already largely finished our reload by the time we actually used Wraith form. And it's not like we didn't dodge anything with it. No, we just kind of like used it for the sake of using it. The intention might have been to use it to reload, but like we'd already largely finished the reload by that point. And especially while running right at like a supercharged Zarya, I would rather save it, given that we didn't need to close the gap on her and we weren't dodging anything of importance. Because Zarya's a scary lady, dude. She's not an Olympic athlete for nothing, you know? So I still really fucking hate this UI, because I was like, we're about to lose. No, wait, that's our team that's capturing it. Yes. Okay, great, we're about to win, actually. So we are not in ideal spot for this. The goal might have been to try and get Mercy while she's close to us, but she's pretty high up in the air at this point, so the only person we're really near is the other Reaper. Fortunately, Winston gets like bumped into us and put to sleep, but wasn't really the ideal spot to start using Death Blossom. The goal was probably trying to get Mercy, but she was pretty high by that point, so we're better off just trying to get into a more into the middle of their team. So we're trying to get the Batista, you know, aim better, all that. God, I was so convinced we were gonna die touching that mine. I was like, that is the enemy team's color. No, it was our team's color. Both teams have got a Hammond now. Alright, tremendous. I was really scared. Please don't send me a video with these two team colors, because it's so awful for me. I don't care what two colors you use, but please pick two that are further apart from each other on the color wheel, okay? It's really upsetting. So I was being distraught over the team colors, and wasn't really paying very close attention. So, their Reaper span on our team. Oh no. How bad. I thought we canceled the Wraith form there. I thought Reaper's armor was coming back down again. So, this is real fucking scary, because we are low health, but as soon as their Reaper is dead, that is the thing that was pretty much risk of killing us from that point, because Winston you can easily out-heal. Most tanks as Reaper, as long as it's not like Roadhog, you can pretty much out-heal their damage. No problem. If you're coming at them from, like, already wounded. Pretty much everybody you can out-heal. Roadhog... If you're coming at Roadhog while you're wounded as Reaper, you are kind of playing with death, but if you're, like, half health running at a Winston, a Hammond, you can out-heal that boy's damage, no problem, and just keep fighting. City Center, train station, I don't know, some the fuck map we're on right now. They've lost both their healers. Actually, they've got 3 healers, because I can see that their Batista just lost, yeah, they got 3 healers. right? Am I correct? Yeah, okay. I could have just looked over at fucking Team 1. I was trying to divine it from the fucking kill feed, but then I was like, wait, the team is right fucking there, dude. So they got 3 healers, but they lost 2 of their healers immediately, so that's a real bad start for them. You really don't want your healers to be the first couple things you lose. So we are not really countering the Winston very much as Reaper. We've been playing much more aggressively than that and just kind of going in the enemy team rather than like sticking with our team to save them. Which is fine, largely, because we've got McCree. McCree is also fine in terms of dealing with a Winston. McCree's actually pretty good at dealing with Winston. It's scary to jump on McCree as Winston because flashbang, fan the hammer, roll, fan the hammer is really fucking scary for most tanks, basically. It's a lot of damage. We canceled that raid form pretty early, didn't we? Or we're trying to chase this guy. So we spanned all these people. Great, awesome, they're dead. Yeah, we just like canceled our wraith form immediately rather than continuing to chase the guy a little bit faster. We could have like wraith formed after him a little bit more. Be careful when you're playing Winston versus Reaper. That boy knows there's a Reaper on this team, and he did not decide to play around Reaper. No sir, he just came up and was like, oh fuck, Reaper's here, and then he died. Be careful where you jump if you're playing Winston and there's a Reaper on the enemy team. So Anna just made a bunch of people on their team purple, so that was probably very upsetting for them. And I just heard their Mercy start using her ultimate. We're off looking for people right now. I don't really want to be doing this, because this is a really time-consuming plan that we're going for right now. And if there's no people in this alleyway right now, there's only one other thing they can really be trying to do, and it's going down the alleyway on the left-hand side instead. So, like, and if Mercy just used her ultimate, like, they're definitely fighting over there. So, like, this is a really time-consuming path that we go down to go this way. And, like, if we think the flank will pay off, then that's fine, I guess. But, like, we don't have Death Blossom, so, like, it's already, like, less likely for this flank to be super good. So it ends up just taking us a really long time to get into this fight and actually, like, take part in it. So we do Wraith Form right here. When Winston jumps on us, there's no reason we can't just fight the Winston. Like, what's Winston gonna do to us, right? If Winston starts fucking us up, oh god, I hope not, but if Winston started fucking us up, we could have Wraith formed away from him then, rather than Wraith forming as soon as he jumps on us. Because we should be able to just fight the Winston off as Reaper, no big deal. So we're waiting up here. Hopefully Winston decides to jump up here, which they're quite likely to do, even though jumping up here is usually not super productive for them. Yes. Anna delivered onto us a beautifully wrapped gift right there. So we decide to start spinning right now. I do not want to start spinning right now. Wait, no, that's their Reaper. Oh, God. Because I just looked at this really quickly, and I was like, there's only their Winston next to us. No, Reaper's right there as well. God, the colors are so upsetting. I was like, I don't want to spin on just their tanks, but the Reaper was there as well. So I guess it's fine, because if we're spinning on like both their tanks and the Reaper, then that's okay. But spinning on the tanks as Reaper is usually less efficient than just shooting them. And also, just shooting them gives you way more ult charge if you're playing Reaper, so... Though I guess if you've already got Death Blossom built up, that's not much of a concern for you, is it? So they do not have a lot of time left. We just got nano boosted. We don't have Death Blossom to use, but we can still just shoot the bad men, which is perfectly acceptable. I would rather than go after this Moira. So we do all this, that's fine. As soon as I see Moira comes out of Fade that far away from me, I'm already like, alright, this is a lot of effort to kill Moira at this point. If we're gonna commit to killing this Moira, we should hard commit and use Wraith Form to close the gap on her. Because she's already used Fade, she can't Fade again for 6 seconds, so if we're gonna try to kill her, we should hard commit for trying to kill her and Wraith Form up to her. Otherwise, if we're not gonna do that, just go fight the people on the point instead, because she is too far away from us. Her hitbox is very small, and she's very far away from us. As Reaper, very bad combination of things. So we've got to, like, commit and Wraith up to her. We didn't even commit there. We decided to do it way too late, and we didn't fully commit to Wraithing up to her even then. If we're not going to hard commit, we should just go fight people on the point instead. And most of the time, I'd rather go fight the Reinhardt anyway, to be honest with you. Their Reinhardt also ended up using Earth Shatter during that fight as well, while we were off doing that. So even though we were occupying their Mira is what I was about to say, it ended up not actually amounting to anything, because their team just won the fight anyway. So we gotta, like, either commit hard, or just go off and do something else instead, because there's no way we were killing her from that distance. Reaper in general is a hero where you've got to be, like, really decisive with what you decide to do. Because there's no poking and prodding with Reaper, right? You're either in or you're out. So you've got to, like, be pretty decisive about what you're doing as Reaper. You're either holding W and left-clicking the boy, or you are trying to sneak up on somebody, and then hold down W and left-click the boy. There's no poking, there's no prodding, you're in or you're out as Reaper. So we performed the Reaper special and just jump right down on top of them. There was no reason to use Wraith form right here. I guess we were afraid of getting hit by Junkrat's bombs. That's the most likely thing I can think of anyway. But we don't really want to come out of Wraith form right in front of their Reaper and the rest of their team. Because, oh fuck, if we don't kill their Reaper real fucking good, we're going to be in a bad spot. So if we're afraid of dying to the Junkrat bombs, we're better off backing up and then going in with our team instead, because we don't want to come out of Wraith form right in front of them. But we also just didn't really need to use Wraith form right there. It was probably fear of Junkrat bombs, if I had to guess. That seems most likely. So we changed back to Genji again at this point, which is, you know, fine. I still am a big fan of Reaper. I would still rather be playing Reaper personally, but, you know, it's fine. It's fine. And we don't really have to do too much at this point. We're just pretty much going from person to person, because they're mostly running onto the point by themselves. So we've decided to come over here and fight people as they're regrouping. Now, this is a choice that you have to make sometimes, whether to go after the reinforcements as they're coming or fight on the point. Right now, I would rather be fighting on the point because I don't consider the fight on the point a done deal, right? Which is the main point of decision to make in this situation. Will my team win without me? And I'm not certain they will win without me right now. So I would rather be fighting on the point personally rather than heading off the reinforcements. If I was more confident in my teammates, I would do this, but like half the enemy team is still there, one of them's a Reaper, like, hey dude, he might walk through our whole fucking team, right? And at this point, like, our team is, like, not winning the fight on the point at this point anymore, right? And we have decided to start fighting our counter as Genji at 91 health. Moreover, we dashed into him. So, that was not our finest hour right there. We did not make a terribly good decision on that one. Especially when we were oh so close to having Dragon Blade, so now we can't use it until we get back. Which could very easily be the difference between winning a round and losing a round. Oh god, where are we at? Oh no, everything's very scary. Is that our team that's winning? Is that our team that's, like, got control of the point right now? I think so. I think it's our team that has the point, so great for us, but, like, we've got to kill all these bad men. This is apparently largely our team that's around us right now. Oh god, oh, Jesus Christ, the colors are so upsetting. It's okay, we won. We won. Tremendous. Oh god, let's just go over to the email real quick and just, like, get it over with. What a terrible video this has been. I'm so sorry. So, first off, this is my other account that I haven't used in a while that I'm trying to rank up on. I'm used to playing in Plat where people hold W when they have the advantage. Sometimes that isn't the playing goal because everyone is too much of a coward to do it and I die. Question 1. Should I continue trying to hold W or cower in a corner to hide from the scary bad man? Well, if you're playing a hero like Genji or Reaper, you know, you can usually get away with holding W a lot more and just kind of, like, seeing if it'll work, you know? It's also one of those things where, like, you know, somebody has to be the one that holds W to get your teammates to actually start going forward, and ideally it's the tank, but it will frequently not be the tank. So, I mean, if you're playing Reaper, you can just, like, hold W and start walking into them, and Reaper is so tanky, and Wraith form is so good, that if things go badly, you can usually get out, as long as you don't run headfirst into, like, 3 different forms of crowd control and die. So you can usually just try it. Genji, you know, you're not usually going in through the front line anyway. You're usually just, like, sticking around the backside trying to poke and prod at people and get kills if you can. So, you can tell if your teammates are going to hold W and come in at that point, which will make it, which is, like, the main thing, right? It's like, it's fine to hold down W if your teammates are going to hold down W with you, but if they don't, well, you end up dying because you held W by yourself, right? So, playing Genji, like, you can see what your front line's doing. You can just, like, wait to see what they do and then decide how aggressively to go. Someone does have to be the one that tries to make something happen, right? So, like, you know, if you're in gold and you're a good player, like if you're playing on a Smurf or something like that, then you should be able to identify when it's okay for you to, like, start holding down W versus them, because if your team's gold, the enemy team's gold as well, right? So if you're playing on a Smurf or something like that, I would hope that you'd be able to tell, like, how much you can get away with versus those kinds of players as well, which is usually more than you'd be able to get away with in Plat. Because that's the thing, right, is this, like, alright, well, my team is lower than I'm used to, but the same is also true of the enemy team, which means you can usually get away with more shit as well. Because I know that if I'm playing Reinhardt, I can get away with swinging into the enemy team a hell of a lot more if I'm playing in a lower SR than a higher SR, because the enemy team is not going to punish me properly. So if you're playing, like, people like Soldier, you know, you can identify times when you could just, like, run around the enemy team and get into, like, a high ground spot around to the side or behind them, and then, like, they have to deal with you, but, like, they might not be good enough to do that, and Soldier is, like, hard to kill if only, like, a Winston or, like, one person comes after you. Soldier is, like, pretty good at dueling people because Biotic Field is a really good ability, and Helix Rocket is a lot of burst damage, so it's not hard to, like, fight a dude off as Soldier, so you can usually get away with a lot of, like, running through people and then fighting them on, getting on, like, high ground and then fighting them from that. If you're on, like, Hanamura, you know, if you can spot a time at the choke point where the enemy team is, someone on their team is reloading, they're, like, backed up, they're playing more passively right now, be real with you, dude, a lot of the time you can just sprint straight through the gate, go right, go up onto the high ground, get on the platform behind them, start fighting them from over there, and somebody has to take responsibility for actually dealing with you, and nobody ever really quite wants to do that in low SRs, and it might just be one person who you can usually fight off. So the thing is right there with that saying that is be careful, because if you keep trying to do that as you climb up, you will run into a wall where that suddenly stops working. So, you know, you gotta adapt. The moral of the story basically is you've got to adapt to the SR that you're in, one way or the other, which is usually like, well, my team is going to be bad, so I can't expect them to play well. But the enemy team is also going to be bad, so I can expect them to not play well also, which usually means I can get away with more shit. So the answer is, you know, basically it's like play it by ear, try and feel out how good the enemy team seems to be, and then decide how much you think you can get away with. And sometimes you're going to call that wrong, and you're going to think you can get away with way more than you can actually get away with, and you're going to get killed and die. But hey, then you learned a valuable lesson, if nothing else. It's, you know, that's the hard thing with lower SRs, is that, you know, if your team are all cowards, nobody wants to do anything, it's going to be really hard to win the game, especially when it comes to the attacking phase, right? Because the attacking team, they have to be brave, right? You have to be brave at some point if you're going to actually attack and capture the objective. So sometimes, you know, you are going to be in situations where there's just legitimately pretty much nothing you can do, because your team is just way too passive to ever try and make anything actually happen. Usually happens when somebody who is not comfortable playing tanks gets forced onto the tank role because they don't know what to do. Which usually means the tank ends up playing way passively. And that's how we end up playing those games where we spend 4 minutes outside the gate on Hanamura and we never so much as even see the rock garden, right? Like, that's how that happens. So sometimes life will be hard like that, but just try and figure out how much you can get away with is pretty much the answer. Next up, on the second round, I didn't realize we had a Kree until we already walked out, so I decided to let him and Anna deal with Monkey. Question 2, is that okay, or am I an ass for forcing that on them so I can do the pew-pew? It is not unreasonable to expect a McCree and Anna to be able to deal with a Winston. If it was like Winston and somebody else, you know, if like they were Winston Diva, Winston Hammond, then at that point they'll probably need help because it will be difficult for them to fend both people off. You know, if there's also a flanker, it gets more difficult as well. But if we're just talking Monkey, then it is not unreasonable to assume that a McCree and an Anna can deal with that situation by themselves. If time shows that they can't deal with it, like you just see that they clearly struggle to deal with the Winston, then at that point you go, alright, it is no longer reasonable for me to expect them to deal with it because obviously they can't. So now I need to deal with it as well. But just on paper, it's not unreasonable to assume they can deal with it. So that's fine. Just like pay attention to what's going on with them over the course of the game. Does it feel like they are dying to Winston? You know, does it feel like Winston is getting away with a lot of shit? And in that case, well, turns out they can't deal with it, so you'll have to deal with it. But just team comp-wise, they should be able to. So, nah, you're not an asshole as long as you are paying attention still to see if they do need your help. The moral of the story for this one will basically be, you know, if your teammates are struggling, you have to help them. But if it looks like they're fine, you don't have to help them. But if your teammates are struggling, you should do everything in your power you can to help them relieve the situation that they're struggling with. Because if they're continuing to struggle, they aren't doing their jobs, which will make it harder to do your jobs. So that's the point where you start needing to help, like, cover for them. But just baseline, nah. Just pay attention pretty much and see if they can deal with it or not. And play it by ear, again. But just team comp-wise, it's fine. So there you go. There's our 2 questions. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know, and I will try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join the Discord and ask questions more directly, have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I've started streaming on Twitch Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 8 p.m. EST till midnight EST. There's a link to the channel in the description. And if you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future. And I hope you found the video helpful. Oh, that was a bad one. Jesus Christ.